Greetings, everyone. This is Rock No Spot Connection with another installment of Building the Team. So, last week we did 600 points, DC only. Ended up going with the Justice League team. Didn't do as well as I hoped. I'll admit part of it was I made a bad choice when it came to maps. So, it was my own damn fault. In part, at least. And the other time it was just, the dice didn't want to work with me. So, what do you do? Also, there were some simple mistakes thrown in as well. So, yeah. Anywho, this week we're looking at 300 points modern, which means from Elseworlds forward. And it's the present I have no DC team for this. Partially because I did so much with so much in the way of building a team with Rebirth from that it's like I don't want to dig through Rebirth stuff for a little while. There's all I think Harley Quinn and the Gotham Girls might still be legal. Might. I don't have much from Batman the Animated Series, to be perfectly honest. Yet. Yeah, I know, the set's been up for over a year. I'm still just like, I don't have much from it. Yet. Anywho, so yeah. We have 4 teams today, 3 Marvel teams and a Star Trek team. But anyways, let's get started. So we got ourselves, first off, an Avengers team. Kicking off the team with AIM Red Squad. So I think we looked at these guys way back during the sealed game after report I did for Black Panther and the Illuminati. So, AIM Red Squad, as well as AIM White Squad, which we're about to see, come from the U.S. Avengers story, or series, wherein Roberto da Costa, also known as the New Mutant Sunspot, as well as the Avenger Citizen V, but I don't think I'm going to be seeing his run as Citizen V in Captain America and the Avengers. Had a unique thought on how to handle AIM. Rather than just constantly fighting advanced idea mechanics, he bought them and rebranded them Avengers Idea Mechanics. And so, you ended up with AIM beekeepers that were basically friendly to the Avengers. It's kind of crazy. Anyway, so AIM Red Squad comes in at 20 points, has the AIM, Avengers, Hydra, and Soldier keywords. We got a trait, Security and Tactics Division. At the beginning of the game, for all characters with this trait, choose Empower or Enhancement, and they can use the chosen power of this game. If they are part of a named theme team, you can choose both. Well, this is a named theme team, so he has full dial Empower and Enhancement, which is great with this team. So, looking at the dial, we start off with a click of Willpower, followed by a couple clicks of Flurry, nothing on attack, 2 clicks of Toughness, followed by a click of Combat Reflexes on defense, and nothing on damage. Next up, we've got AIM White Squad. So yeah, during U.S. Avengers, you had 3 different sections of AIM. You had red, white, blue. Hard, right? Anyway, so AIM White Squad comes in at 30 points, has the AIM, Avengers, Hydra, Scientist keywords, as well as the trait Science and Engineering Division. At the beginning of the game, for all characters with this trait, choose out Win or Perplex. They can use the chosen power if they're named theme team, both. So, yeah, Outwit and Perplex. Huzzah! Looking at the dial, on speed we start off with nothing, but Y Squad clicks into a couple clicks of sidestep. On attack, we've got an opening click of incapacitate. That's it for attack. On defense, we open up with a click of inertial deflection, followed by a couple clicks of defend. Though, to be perfectly honest, those defense values are terrible and should not be passed along to anybody. So, yeah. And finally, on damage, again, starts off with nothing, just like with speed. But we click into a couple clicks of support. Which that can be useful. Next up, we've got Captain America. This version of Captain America is based on his appearances in the miniseries Avengers Prime, which came out after the crossover event, The Siege, which marked the end of what was referred to as the the Dark Reign branding. But the basic idea with Avengers Prime was it was to bring Cap, Thor, and Tony back together again, as the three of them, by and large, have been at odds with one another for the past few years in real time. Anyway, Cap here comes in at 50 points, has the Avengers team ability as well as the Asgardian, Avengers, and Soldier keywords. We got a trait, Wielder of the Asgardian Shield. Captain America starts the game with the Asgardian Shield equipped without paying for it. That's the Asgardian Shield. And what it does is it grants energy shield deflection. That's all. Alright. Looking at his dial, we open up with a couple clicks of charge, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. On attack, we have some mid-dial blades for a couple clicks. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of combat. Well, first off, he's indomitable, so built-in willpower. As I'll always bring up, always a plus. But we got a couple clicks of combat reflexes, followed by a click of the special defense power, Together Again. Stop. Combat reflexes. Adjacent friendly characters modify attack by +1. Okay, alright. That's followed by a couple clicks of super senses. Then on damage, we open up with a couple clicks of Close Combat Expert. On the click with the stop click, we got nothing. And then 2 more clicks of Close Combat Expert. Next up, we've got Hawkeye. Not the Hawkeye I normally use, but the Hawkeye I normally use, much like the Captain America I tend to use, is not actually modern legal. So, and there are reasons for using Cap in particular, which we'll get to later. Hawkeye comes in at 50 points, has no team ability, and the Avengers keyword. He also has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain, and the trait Origin before the Avengers. At the beginning of the game, if Hawkeye is part of an Avengers theme team, he can use the Avengers team ability this game. Otherwise, he modifies his attack and defense +1 this game, so he can use the Avengers team ability. Looking at his dial, we open up with a click of Running Shot, followed by a couple clicks of Sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of Plasticity. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of the special power Carnival Marksman. Precision strike, but may use it with up to 2 targets. Okay, alright. That then gives way to Energy Explosion. On defense, we've got nothing to start off with, but he clicks into Energy Shield Deflection for the rest of his dial. And then on damage, we've got nothing. Not the best Hawkeye. Actually, the starter Hawkeye from Avengers Infinity is definitely the better version from that set. Next up, we've got Spider-Man. Spider-Man here comes in at 70 points, has the Spider-Man Allied Team ability, as well as the Avengers, Battleworld, Spider Island, Spider-Man Family, Celebrity, and Ruler keywords. He also has 2 traits. First off is Heroes Get Remembered, Legends Never Die. Spider-Man starts the game with 2 stasis tokens. As long as Spider-Man has a stasis token, he has immobile and can't make attacks. At the end of your turn, remove a stasis token from Spider-Man. Next up is Baron of Battleworld, which grants Spider-Man Perplex and Leadership. When he uses Perplex to target another character, you may instead modify a combat value but accept damage, but +2 if the target shares a Battleworld keyword, or -2 if it has a different Battleworld keyword. Now, no one else on the team has a Battleworld keyword, so it's not going to come into play too terribly much, though it might against there's the possibility it would come up against opposing teams. So, but largely you just have regular Perplex and Leadership. Looking at his dial, we've got a couple clicks of Charge followed by a few clicks of Sidestep. Then on attack, we open up with a few clicks of Quake followed by a couple clicks of Precision Strike. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of Super Senses. Click into a couple clicks of Combat Reflexes, and then back to a couple clicks of Super Senses. Then on damage, we get a couple of clicks of Wit, a couple of Close Combat Expert, and a couple of... Is that support? Yes, that is support. Alright. Last review for the team is... Falcon. And seriously, I do really enjoy this sculpt. They've had a lot of really good Falcon figures over the years. And there's a lot of excellent work with the sculpt, I think. Alright, so Falcon comes in at 75 points, has the Avengers team ability, as well as the Avengers, Defenders, Heroes for Hire, Shield, and Soldier keywords, as well as improved movement ignores characters. And 2 traits. First off, my friend Redwing. At the beginning of the game, generate a Redwing Bystander token. Redwing has Autonomous. Autonomous means that the actions that Redwing's actions do not count towards my action total. As for Redwing himself, Redwing has got 2 traits. Vampiric Bird, once per game when he will be KO'd, instead Redwing isn't, and that's protected from Pulse Wave. And always by our side. At the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. On a 4, 5, or 6, remove an action token from a fairly adjacent character named Falcon or Captain America. Okay. Then power-wise, we've got Hypersonic Speed, Precision Strike, and Super Senses. Not too shabby. Next trait for the Falcon is Captain America and the Falcon. Energy Shield Deflection. If a friendly character named Captain America is on the map, Falcon has Autonomous. Gee, there's a character named Captain America on this team as well. Huh. Crazy how that works out. Alright, so, looking at the dial, we open up with a few clicks of Charge, followed by a few clicks of Sidestep. On attack, we get a few clicks of Quake to start off with, and that's sadly all. Defense, he's got Indomitable. And we get a few clicks of power-wise, we get a few clicks of Super Senses, so a few clicks of Combat Reflexes. Damage, we open up with a few clicks of the special power. I've learned from the best. Close Combat Expert as close. So basically, he can use Charge with Close Combat Expert. That's always a good thing. And then after that, we get a few clicks of just regular Close Combat Expert. Also, because we're 5 points shy, I'd like to also throw in, to cover those remaining 5 points, the Venom Symbiote. Which gives the character it's equipped to plasticity and shape change and automatically breaking away. Most likely it's going to end up on Spider-Man. Though I could see possibly also giving it to Captain America. Alright, moving on, we've got ourselves a Champions team. Now the Champions were originally a team in the 70s that were basically Marvel saying, hey, let's do another team book. Oh, hey, we're not really using these characters, meaning Iceman, Angel, Black Widow, Hercules, Ghost Rider, some others. I think, well, actually, that may have been just been those five. So let's put them all together on a team in California. It's generally kind of derided. The modern day version, however, came about, I want to say, sometime in the last 5 years or so, probably less, honestly. And is kind of a Marvel equivalent to the Teen Titans, really. Among the members are Miss Marvel, Miles Morales, the Sam Alexander Nova, the other Falcon, Power Man. You have a lot of characters with legacy code names, basically. Anywho, this particular team. First off, we've got Iceman. This is supposed to represent Iceman back when he in the era between Giant Size X-Men and rejoining the X-Men proper in the early 90s. So, keyword wise, he comes in at, well, first off, point wise, he comes in at 60 points. Keyword wise, he's got Champions, Defenders, and X Factor. We have a trait here, X Factor. When this character hits with an attack, modify damage +1 for each 5 in the attack roll. Okay. Looking at the dial, we have a couple clicks of running shot, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. On attack, we open up with special attack power, Chill Out. Incapacitate with 3 targets. That's extremely useful. Then we've got, that gives way to a handful of clicks of Pulse Wave. On damage, defense, we open up with some initial deflection, followed by a few clicks of barrier. Then on damage, we open up with nothing, but he clicks into Shape Change. Next up, we have the aforementioned New Falcon, which the Falcon is on the Avengers team is the prime of, from the recent Avengers or Black Panther and the Illuminati set. So, Falcon also comes in at 60 points. He has the Champions and Animal keywords. Just as a trait, ha! He stole your thing and your bird. At the beginning of the game, generate a Red Wing bystander token. Honestly, it's the same as with the other Red Wing, except that this Red Wing doesn't have autonomous. Looking at the dial, we open up with a few clicks on speed with a couple clicks of hypersonic speed, followed by a couple clicks of charge, followed by a couple clicks of flurry. Nothing on attack. Then on defense, we open up with a few clicks of inertial deflection, a couple clicks of toughness, and finishing things up with a special power. Dude, I have a healing factor. Stop. When this link is first revealed, Falcon gains immobile until your next turn. Then regeneration is free, but only once per game. Okay. Then on damage, we open up with a special power, Mental Link to Sam and Red Wing. Choose a friendly character named Captain America, Falcon, or Red Wing, and a standard power that character can use. Falcon can use the chosen power until your next turn. Okay, alright. In this case, it's probably going to end up being either Super Senses or Precision to Strike. Excuse me. But, later on, could you go with Hypersonic Speed? Anyway, Mental Link to Sam and Red Wing gives way to a couple clicks of Battle Fury at the end. Which Battle Fury can be useful, but it can also be a bit of a hindrance. In the case of Falcon, however, it's more useful than hindering, as when he has it, he'll be able to ignore shape change. And he'll also be able to well, I mean, he can't be carried over to flyer, but that's really it. Is just the ignoring shape change part. I don't think he can be mind controlled either. Could be wrong. Anywho, next up we've got Nova. Nova comes in at 70 points. He's got the Avengers, Champions, New Warriors, Nova Core, and Cosmic keywords. He also has the trait Nova, the Human Taxi. When Nova uses Charge or Running Shot, you carry a friendly character with the Champion's keyword. After the move resolves, the carrying character may be given the close or range action at no cost instead of Nova. Okay, alright. Looking at the dial, we open up with a couple clicks of the special speed power. Ready or not, here it comes. Charge. When Nova uses it, you may choose that he must move in a direct path. If you do, he can use ignores and destroys blocking terrain and ignores characters. Or improve movement. After a couple clicks of that, we get a couple clicks of running shot, and then back to ready or not, here it comes. On attack, we open up with nothing, but that gives way to a few clicks of penetrating psychic blast. Defense, we open up with a couple clicks of invulnerability, followed by a few clicks of toughness, and nothing on damage. Last up for this team is Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. So Miss Marvel comes in at 90 points, has the Avengers team ability, as well as the Avengers, Champions, and Humans, and Celebrity keywords. She also has a trait, I have polymorph powers. Shape change. At the beginning of your turn, you may turn her to the same click number of a different color, and then heal her one click. When she's on a blue click number, she has Tiny. Okay, alright. Looking at her dial. So we'll first go with the red click numbers, then with the blue ones. So on speed, we open up with a couple clicks of charge, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. On attack, for the entirety of the dial, she has a special power. Excuse me. But for the entirety of the red dial, she has the special power Big Stretchy Fists, giving her a giant reach of 2. On defense, she opens up with Invincible, and then gives way to Toughness. On damage, she opens up with Leadership, followed by a few clicks of Close Combat Expert. All in all, not too shabby. Now, looking at the blue dial, we open up with, on speed, she's got a full dial of Sidestep. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of Precision Strike, followed by a couple clicks of Incapacitate. On defense, she opens up with a couple clicks of Combat Reflexes, followed by a few clicks of Super Senses. Then on damage, she opens up with a special power, Think Small to Solve Big Problems, giving her Outwit and Perplex, and she can modify her attack by +1 for each action token on her target. It's not bad. That then gives way to a couple clicks of just regular Perplex. And because this team is also a little bit under point-wise, we're throwing in a couple 10-point pieces of equipment. First off is the Blood Axe. The Blood Axe is a heavy object. The effect on the character's equipped to is they gain Battle Fury, exploit weakness, and steal energy. So that can be kind of useful. Next up, we've got Yarnborn. Now, Yarnborn is an axe that was And has Guardian Axe that is capable of killing Celestials. And it's also a heavy object. The effect it has on the equipped character is that the character's attack rolls of 9, 10, or 11 that hit count as critical hits. Okay, alright. I can definitely get behind that. Alright, moving on, we've got ourselves a Starfleet team as well. Put the two wharfs to the side. So we'll kick off the Starfleet team with Dr. Beverly Crusher. Now, there are two, well, actually three Dr. Crushers in HeroClix. The first two are generally from the first Star Trek: The Next Generation Gravity feed. Resistance is futile. This one is from To Boldly Go, and represents a different point in a different point in Beverly's career. So Dr. Crusher comes in at 35 points. She's got the Starfleet and Scientist keywords, as well as the United Federation of Planets team ability, which is the same as the Avengers. When she's given a move action, she gets speed +1. She's got a trait. I'm not going to leave and let you die. At the beginning of your turn, Dr. Beverly Crusher can use support at no cost, but only to target a character damaged by an opponent's attack since your last turn. Okay. Then, looking at her dial, we open up with a couple clicks of phasing teleport, followed by a couple clicks of sidestep. We got nothing on attack. On defense, we open up with a couple clicks of energy deflection, followed by a couple clicks of defend. And on damage, we open up with a couple clicks of the special power Head of Starfleet Medical. Leadership, support. When Dr. Crusher or an adjacent friendly character uses support, applying -1 instead of -2 to the D6 result. Okay, alright. That then gives way to regular support. Next up, we've got Dr. McCoy. Or, as he was more affectionately known, Bones. So Bones comes in at 45 points. He's got the Starfleet and Scientist keywords, as well as a trait, to hell with your logic, Mr. Spock. Sometimes a man just has to follow his gut and take a chance. As a free action, choose a friendly character within 4 squares in line of fire. The next attack roll that character makes this turn can't be re-rolled, and on a result of 2 to 9, the attack misses. The result of 2 is still a critical miss. 10 to 12, the attack is a critical hit. Yeah, that's probably not going to be coming up too often, I hate to say it. Anyway, looking at his dial, we open up with 3 clicks of phasing teleport, followed by 3 clicks of sidestep. We have nothing on it. We got nothing on attack and a 0 attack value. Then on defense, we open up with a few clicks of super senses, and that's all we've got. Then on damage, we've got a full run of the special power. Damn it, Jim, I'm a doctor, not which grants Bones support. And when he uses it, his attack value becomes 11, and he does not take pushing damage for this action. So technically speaking, he's got an 11 attack, but only with support. Also, of note, he has a 0 damage. Alright, moving on, we've got Counselor Troy. I can't remember they put her first name on there as well, but they didn't. Counselor Troy comes in at 50 points, has the United Federation of Planets team ability, as well as the Starfleet keyword, and she has the trait Captain. I am sensing deep hostility towards us. When a friendly character that's adjacent or has a Starfleet keyword would take 4 or more damage, roll a d6. On a 4, 5, or 6, that character takes 3 damage instead. Looking at her dial, we open up with a click of sidestep. We got a brief section with nothing on speed, which is then followed up by a couple clicks of mind control. Nothing on attack. Then on defense, we have a couple clicks of defend, and actually it's defend with a really good defense value, followed by a few clicks of super senses. On damage, we open up with a few clicks of probability control, followed by a couple clicks of empower. Not too shabby. Next up, we've got Miles O'Brien. Now, Miles started off as a supporting character on Next Generation. Basically kind of a generic crew member. Whenever they needed an extra body for the scene, if they needed an extra body and maybe say some dialogue, well, hey, here's O'Brien. Which is why initially he was wearing Command Red in Next Generation as opposed to Engineering Gold. However, later on, as they began using the character more and more often, they said, okay, you know what? Let's just make him a recurring character and definitively make him part of the... we'll make him the Transporter Chief. That way, most times when we beam down, when we visit the Transporter Room, we see O'Brien. And also of note, O'Brien actually got, in Next Generation, some actual development. Was more than just the Transporter Chief. He's also a cellist. He met a young woman. He met and fell in love with a botanist aboard the ship, Keiko. And the two even got married on an episode of the show. And then, after Season 5, or maybe it was during Season 6, O'Brien was transferred. The character went from being a recurring character on The Next Generation to being a series regular on Deep Space Nine, where he would become the Chief of Operations. Now, there was also this was also important for the character as a whole, just because part of his backstory was revealed in an episode entitled The Wounded, wherein it turns out his old commanding officer was leading attacks on Cardassian colonies. And it was revealed that Miles was involved in what's referred to as the Cardassian border wars, and generally in the role of more of a foot soldier than anything else. And he does not much care for Cardassians because of the things he witnessed during that time. However, and so he ended up on Deep Space Nine because he had a familiarity with Cardassian technology and a familiarity with Cardassians in general. Which also, his attitudes towards them changed over the course of the series as well. But yeah. This, however, is more just the, Transporter Chief version. With the backstory of the Wounded kind of included as well. So, O'Brien comes in at 50 points. He's got the Starfleet, Scientist, and Soldier keywords. We got a trait. Get them out of there, Mr. O'Brien. Now! Miles O'Brien has 0 or 1 action tokens. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Starfleet keyword can use super senses. When a character uses the super senses and succeeds, give Miles O'Brien an action token and place that character adjacent to Miles O'Brien. That's actually really neat. I like that idea of he can technically beam up a friendly character. And that might actually be part of the part of the reason I've got two medics on the team. Okay, it's totally the reason. Alright, so looking at the dial, we have a few clicks of sidestep, a few clicks of telekinesis, a few clicks of willpower, followed by a couple clicks of combat reflexes. On damage, we open up with nothing, but he clicks into Close Combat Expert. Not too shabby. Next up, we've got Commander Elizabeth Shelby. Now, the last time we did a Starfleet team, I also ran Shelby, and so we went to... Basically, her big thing was the fact that she was she was had a major supporting role in 2 episodes, and 2 of the greatest episodes of all of at least Next Generation. Best of Both Worlds Parts 1 and 2. So the figure comes in at 60 points, has the United Federation of Planets team ability as well as the Starfleet, Scientist, and Soldier keywords. She has a trait, I'm the best you got. At the beginning of the game, choose a keyword. Friendly characters that are adjacent or have the Starfleet keyword modify attack +1 when attacking only opposing characters with the chosen keyword. If the chosen keyword is robot or Borg, modify attack +2 instead. Okay, alright. Then, looking at her dial, we got a couple clicks of running shot, followed by a couple clicks of sidestep. On attack, we open up with a click of penetrating psychic blast, followed by a couple clicks of precision strike. On defense, we open up with willpower, which that gives way to toughness, and then we're back to willpower for the last couple clicks. On damage, we open up with a few clicks of leadership, followed by a couple clicks of ranged combat expert. Not too shabby. And finally, for this team, we've got Lieutenant Worf. And yes, this is a different Worf than the one we used the last time we ran a Starfleet team. However, this Worf still has the shifting focus trait. And we'll get to those, that's hence the other 2 versions. So Worf comes in at 60 points, as the United Federation of Planets team ability, as well as the Klingon, Starfleet, and Warrior keywords. And we have the shifting focus Worf trait. Free action, if Lieutenant Worf began your turn on the map, replace them with another character with this trait on the same click number. Okay. Looking at the dial, we open up with a few clicks of charge, followed by a few clicks of sidestep. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of the special power, My Father's Batleth. Blades, Claws, Fangs. When Lieutenant Worf uses it, for the D6 roll, you may instead roll 2d6 and keep 1 as a result. If the results of both dice match, after resolutions, you may either heal Lieutenant Worf 1 click, or remove an action token from Lieutenant Worf. That's going to be nasty. My Father's Batleth then gives way to Steel Energy. On defense, he's indomitable, as are the other 2 versions of Worf. He opens up with a few clicks of combat reflexes, followed by a few clicks of toughness. Finally, on damage, he opens up with nothing. That gives way to a few clicks of Battle Fury, and then back to nothing. One point of note is that this version of this Worf, unlike the other 2, has no range value. So he is all about that close combat. Hence the Batleth. So the other Worfs, we've got basically Lieutenant Junior Grade Worf from Season 1 of Next Generation. 60 points, United Federation of Planets keyword, Klingon, Starfleet, Warrior keywords, shifting focus, few clicks of sidestep, few plasticity, mid-dial run of precision strike, indomitable, a few clicks of invulnerability, followed by a few clicks of combat reflexes, special damage power. You're with me, Lieutenants, giving him empower, and giving adjacent friendly characters defense +1 against range attacks. And then Lieutenant Worf, this is basically Worf from Season 2 onward. It's full grade lieutenant and security chief at Federation team ability, Klingon, Starfleet, Warrior keywords, shifting focus trait. A few clicks of phasing, followed by a few clicks of force blast. A couple clicks of precision strike, followed by a couple clicks of energy explosion. Indomitable, a few clicks of toughness, and a few clicks of air shield deflection. A few clicks of the special power. Worf gives some cover fire, which gives him enhancement instead of empower. And adjacent friendly characters modify defense +1 against range attacks. And then that gives way at the end to a couple clicks of range combat expert. And that is our Starfleet team. Yet there's one more team. It's a Wakanda team. I've run one of these before previously. This is a slightly different take on it. And we got a few new things to try as well. So we start off with 2 Wakandan scientists. They each come in at 15 points and have the Wakanda and scientist keywords. They also, I don't know, no traits. Looking at their dial, they start off with a click of sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of stealth. Then on damage, they've got a couple clicks of the special power. We will start work right away, my king. Granting them in power, but also affects other friendly characters with the Wakanda keyword within 3 squares. So you basically always want to make sure one of these 2 is no more than 3 squares away from any other character, especially those making close attacks. Next up, we got a couple Dora Milaje Midnight Angels. The Midnight Angels come in at 30 points. Have the Wakanda Spy and Warrior keywords, as well as the trait Wakanda Forever. When the Dora Milaje Midnight Angel is KO'd, immediately after resolutions, heal a friendly character 1 click. If that character has the Wakanda keyword, also modify their attack and damage by +1 until the end of your next turn. Okay. Then looking at the dial, the Midnight Angels start off with a couple clicks of stealth, followed by a couple clicks of charge. On attack, they start off with a couple clicks of the special power Wakandan Strike Team. Unique modifier: Dora Milaje, Midnight Angel, and adjacent friendly characters modify attack +1 if they are closer to an opponent's starting area than their own. Okay, alright. This thing gives way to a couple of clicks of Precision Strike. Then on defense, they start off with Willpower, followed by a couple clicks, followed by a couple clicks of Toughness. And on damage, they open up with a couple clicks of Close Combat Expert. Okay. You combine that with Wakandan Strike Team special power, and going the 1-in-1 route with Close Combat Expert generally makes it more 2-in-1. Next up, we have AO. AO comes in at 30 points. It has the Wakanda and Warrior keywords. She also has 2 traits. First off is Wakanda Forever, just like the Midnight Angels. When she's KO'd, after resolutions, heal a friendly character 1 click. If the friendly character is the Wakanda keyword, attack damage +1 until the end of the next turn. The other click. To save Anika, I will betray Wakanda. Once per game, when AO is KO'd, if she has 20 points, do not remove her from the game. Instead, after resolutions, place her in the square she lies occupied at her starting click. It's okay, it's a traitor one, yeah. But she's 30 points, not 20 points. So looking at the dial, we open up with a few clicks of sidestep, followed by a click of stealth. Then on attack, we open up with a few clicks of Blaze Claw's Fangs. Defense, she opens up with a couple clicks of toughness, followed by a couple clicks of regeneration. On damage, she opens up with a click of leadership, followed by a couple clicks of empower. That's an AO. Next up, we have, well, Anika. Now, one really important thing about Anika, unlike the generic Midnight Angels, Anika is a flyer. Which is always a good thing. So, Anika comes in at 50 points, has the Wakanda and Warrior keywords, as well as Wakanda Forever trait. Looking at her dial, we open up with a couple clicks of sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of charge. On attack, we start off with nothing, but she clicks into a couple of clicks of Blaze Claw's Fangs. On defense, we open up with the special power Stolen Prototype Midnight Angel Armor, which gives her Defend and Toughness. This thing gives way to Invulnerability. And finally, on damage, we open up with a couple clicks of, we've got a couple clicks of Close Combat Expert. Alright, next up we've got the Black Panther himself, King T'Challa. Black Panther comes in at 95 points, though he has a trait that costs 5 or 15 points extra. Bearer of the Gauntlet. Black Panther starts the game with anyone Avengers, Black Panther, and the Illuminati Infinity Gem equipped, or if you paid 15 points, you may instead start with one Black Panther and the Illuminati Infinity Gauntlet equipped. But we're only paying 5. So we're going to start him off with the Ego Gem. The Ego Gem, seen here, has the effect that the character can be equipped with any number of Black Panther and the Illuminati set icon Infinity Gems with different names. As a free action, I can choose a combat value to modify by +1 until my next turn. Okay, alright. That said, Black Panther comes in at 95 points, has the team player team ability, which is wild card ability. However, no one else on the team has a team ability, so yeah, he basically has no team ability either. He has the Avengers, Illuminati, Wakanda, Ruler, and Warrior keywords, as well as improved movement, ignores elevated terrain and hindering terrain. He also has the Wakanda Forever trait. Looking at his dial, we get a couple clicks of charge, followed by a few clicks, or a couple clicks of sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of flurry. On attack, we open up with a few clicks of the special power, Absorbed Kinetic Energy. Quake. Quake is free, but only if Black Panther was hit since your last turn. That gives way to Blaze Lost Fangs. Then on damage, we open up with, well, first off, he's got Indomitable. We open up with a click of Invincible, followed by a few clicks of Toughness, followed by a couple clicks of Super Senses. Then on damage, we open up with a couple clicks of Perplex, followed by a couple clicks of Outwit, followed by a couple clicks of Exploit Weakness. Now, also, because I had the Ego Gem, I thought maybe I'd try something a little different with this team, and so we're also including 3 other Infinity Gems as my objects. First off is the Power Gem. Power Gem costs 10 points. The effect that it has when equipped is that you modify damage by +1. The equipped character gains Close Combat Expert and Range Combat Expert. When they hit, the attack roll was 10 or higher after resolutions, deal a hit target 1 penetrating damage. Okay, alright. Next up, we've got the Soul Gem. So the Soul Gem also comes in at 10 points. And the effect it has is, when equipped, is you modify defense by +1. The equipped character gets Steel Energy both close or range attacks. When the character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher after resolutions, heal 1 click. Okay. And finally, we've got the Mind Gem, which also costs 10 points. The effect is that you modify attack by +1. The equipped character gains Mind Control and Incapacitate. When they hit, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolutions, they can use Mind Control at no cost. And the idea is you can repeat if on the Mind Control attack roll, it's a 10 or higher. So that's definitely in the category of not too shabby. Alright, that's it for this week's installment of Building the Team. Let me know your thoughts on which team I should probably go with in the comments below. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off saying, live long and rock hard.